Salam alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
How's my little brother?
Good.
Good. You're looking well. You had a good day?
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Anything I need to know about?
No.
All right. Very good. You ready to get started? We got a lot to go over. Excuse me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's start with all of that wonderful homework you sent me. We begin Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So we're going to begin with the homework related to the word felak and what number surah that is, and also where the word fajr is found in the Quran. Read whenever you're ready.
113 is a surah number for Falaq, and Fajr is a surah. 29 is a surah number for Al-Fajr, and verse 1 is where the word is found.
Is that 29 or 89?
89.
Okay. All right. So very good. Very good. Very good. So I want you to write down as your homework, what is the difference between Falaq and Fajr? Both of them are talking about the beginning of a new day, but I want you to tell me what the difference is between the new day called the Fajr and the new day called the Falaq.
Is one the evening, the other one is the dawn?
No, they're both the very beginnings of the new day. But I want you to tell me from your study, and you have to ask people about it. And if they don't know, then ask them to help you look it up, and then come back next week with the answer to what is the difference between Falaq and Fajr. Now I'm gonna do a little brain teaser with you, okay? If you look at the letters in Falaq, tell me what the consonants are.
The word?
Yeah, in the word Falaq, what are the three consonants? Not the vowels, but the consonants.
F, L, FLQ?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay. Now I'm going to give you a little brain teaser. You ready for? I know you're ready. You're always ready for it. Now, do you see the letter F also in the word Fajr?
Mm-hmm.
So what are the other consonants in the word Fajr?
F, JR.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Now, I might not have discussed this next part with you, but I want you to figure it out anyway. And whatever it is you don't know, I'm going to explain to you, and then you'll be good to go. All right. So again, you see the letter F in both words, right?
Oh, well, yeah.
Okay. That's the letter Fa. Say it.
Fa.
Right. All right. Okay. So let's get that out of the way. Push that to the side. Now, in the word Falaq, what two consonants are left?
LQ.
Very good. Okay. Now, did I ever discuss with you what other letter matches the letter L in the Arabic language and in any language, actually?
I don't think so. I don't think you've gone over that with me.
Okay. So I'm going to give you a little brief sneak peek into that letter. It's the letter Ra, the R sound. Do you want to know why they are interchangeable?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't worry about writing all of this down. You're going to get this as we continue to go through the alphabet. The reason why the letter Lam, and I want you to say that slowly in your mouth. Lam.
Lam.
Okay. Where does your tongue start out?
L.
In your mouth. Where is it when it starts?
On your it's on your palate.
That's right. Right? Good. All right. Now I want you to say the letter R and roll it like I just did.
Brr.
Yeah. Do it again.
Drrr,
That makes me laugh. So do it one more time.
drrr.
All right. Now, can you feel where your tongue is going when you have to say? Just hold it there and tell me where your tongue is in your mouth.
Drrr. It's still at your palate, just vibrating.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So that's the reason why the letters R and L are interchangeable, because both of them have to be pronounced by your tongue touching the top of your mouth, the palate. Okay. Now, let me tell you what the difference is between the two. I'm going to drop something heavy on you. Don't share it with your teachers because they'll get jealous of your knowledge. Okay. If I say L, you feel your tongue stuck to the top of your mouth?
Mm-hmm.
That's called magnetism. You ever work with a magnet?
Mm-hmm.
And you see how the piece of steel gets stuck to the magnet?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what Allah is letting your tongue do at the top of the palate. So say L again slowly.
L.
Can you feel the magnetism up there? It's kind of stuck there until you move it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say it again.
L.
All right. Now say R.
R.
Okay, so it's not stuck there anymore. It's rotating, like you said, right? It's rotating. You know what does that in creation?
Rotates?
Yeah.
Like anything?
Well, one of the forces in nature.
The sun rotates around the earth.
That's right. And you know what they call the sun? They call the sun the electric sun. So R is electric. L is magnetic. And this entire universe is called electromagnetic. Did you know that? The entire universe is called by the scientists electromagnetic, because those are the two major forces that Allah uses to keep all of this stuff in check and continuously operating. Electromagnetism, even your body is electromagnetic. And I'm sure that you might have rubbed your feet on the rug, your bare feet on the rug, and then touched something, and you got a shock. You ever do that? Probably
And
not.
I
Yeah. Oh, you should try that. Well, if you have you have to have a rug, like a shag rug or something to do that. But you would rub your feet on the rug, and then you just touch a steel object or a metal object, and because your body carries electricity. So just that's just for your own information. All right.
Mhm.
All right. Let's go forward. So R and L are interchangeable. So there's an F in Felak, there's an F in Fajr. There's a Q in Felak, and there's an R, which interchanges with L in Fajr. Now, what's the letters that are left in both words? There's one consonant left that we haven't discussed yet in both of those words. What is that?
J.
Yeah, that's in Fajr. Okay. And what about in Felak?
Q.
Q. All right. And that's because, well, I'm not going to say that's because, but I want you to observe that the letter J is called a guttural because it begins at the very front of the, going towards the back of the throat. J, j. If you say it like j, like jump, 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 you'll feel it coming from right at the tip of your throat. And of course, if you say cough, just like you're coughing now. As a matter of fact, that's where they get the English word cough from, the Arabic letter cough, because it has to do with things that come from the very back of the throat forward. Okay. So say cough,
Cough.
QAF. I want to hear the F also. Cough.
Cough.
Very good. All right. So that's a guttural also. So the J is a guttural and the is a guttural. So what does that mean about both of these words?
What is a guttural?
That's a good question. Do you know what the gutter is?
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
Gets water out. Like it's up there and like water flows down
Yeah.
and
So
goes.
yeah. I grew up in New York City where the gutter was like the if you're walking down the street and there's like an alley, we call that the gutter because it's in the back of the house. So the gutter in this case are those things that are not out front, but you have to bring them from the back. Go get that garbage out of the gutter, right? Or sometimes the gutter is beneath uh the ground, right? The water goes into the gutter, right? You have different words for it, but the idea is that it's something that comes from behind or something that comes from the back of somewhere. Okay.
Mhm.
So what you will do also is just use that as one of your homework words and let us know next week what gutter means as far as the dictionary is concerned. I'll wait for you to write that down. Let me know when you're finished.
Done.
All right. So what we're noticing here is that all three consonants in both words, they match the part of the mouth that has to pronounce them. They're not in the same exact order, but they match those three parts of the mouth. All right. Fa is called a labial. Labial means that you have to use your lips to pronounce it. So say fa slowly.
Ba.
All right. So what is touching your bottom lip in your mouth?
My teeth.
Yeah. Which teeth?
The two front teeth.
That's right. Up or down.
What?
You have upper front teeth and you have lower front teeth. So which are touching the lip?
Upper.
Very good. Very, very good. Okay. So that's fa. It's a labial. Don't worry about that. We're going to be going over that in detail in the next month or so. Then you have lam in falak. And as we said, lam is a liquid because it flows. You can hold lamb as long as you want to hold it because it flows. Same thing with the letter R. It's a liquid because you can hold that as long as you want, but you can't hold cough. You can't hold dal, d. You can't hold it. But because you can hold those sounds that come from L and R, they're called liquids. You got it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And then you have the guttural sounds of cough coming from the back and j, jim, j coming from the back. So wherever you find words that have matching consonants as far as the part of the mouth that they're being pronounced in, those words are going to be related, like kissing cousins, as they call them. The words won't be brothers and sisters, they won't be siblings. But just like your cousins, it doesn't mean that you have the same mother and father that your cousins have. But there's something in your cousin's family, an auntie, an uncle, or something like that, that's going to be related to you. And it's the same thing with words and letters. Letters are like your genes. I call them letter genes, genes, because they operate in words exactly like DNA and RNA operate in humans and in other life forms. I know that's a lot to chew on. I'm doing that to you on purpose because you've proven that you can absorb. You absorb a lot. All right. So Felak and Fajr are going to have something to do with each other. That's your homework question. That's the one that you wrote down. What is the difference between Felak, which is a part of the new day, and Fajr, which is also a part of the new day? Okay. Both of them are translated in the Quran as dawn, but they're not the same thing. So see if you can find somebody who knows the difference. You might not be able to find anybody who knows the difference. And then that's where I step in and I explain the difference to you 7 days from now. Got it? There we go. Can you see that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Go for it.
A bull. When does a male calf become a bull? A bull, also called a sire, is a male bovine. A bovine is a subfamily of mammals. Examples: cattle, bison, and African buffalo. that is at least 2 years old, used for breeding purposes. Bulls are usually not used for meat. Information retrieved from SturdyBarn.com.
Oh, you're thorough, man. You got references and stuff. You're thorough. I like that. I like that you gave the reference. I know where to go find that information if I want to check it. That's good. Studybarn.com. That's wonderful. All right. So we know that a male calf becomes a bull at 2 years old. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very good. That's all I wanted you to know because the male calf is basically the same as the female calf, only because they share the same name, calf. So you have to ask somebody who's raising calf or calves, as they call them, calves, what gender is this calf? It can be male calf, like you just said, or it can be a female calf. Now, when does it become something else? We know it's at 2 years old, but what happens at 2 years old? If it's a female,
It becomes a heifer.
there you go. And what happens at 2 years old? If it's a male,
Becomes a bull.
you got it, partner. You got this. All right. So let's move forward. You rocking and rolling, man. All right. So we're going to go back over our Khaleefah lesson. This is a very important lesson. That's why I'm spending this kind of time on it. Okay. I want you to read this very quickly again, although we've gone over this twice. This will be the third time, but I added some other goodies in it that are necessary for you to know.
Represents the arms when protecting itself. In fact, Kha is using the arms to seize and detain, and a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Okay, so they're seizing and detaining the little Gumby head little dude right there in the middle. All right, that's Kha. He can't just go where he wants to go anymore. He's been detained.
The sound of Kha is like having a chicken bone stuck in your throat. All of a sudden, your breathing is seized and interrupted. The feeling you have of desperation and helplessness is Kha also. Kha represents things which come forth suddenly from the back for survival's sake. Quranic Arabic word Khaleefah refers to one who comes from the back in order to lead from the front. Repeat the sound Kha in your mouth. An infant, especially once she's crawling, also needs to season
I'm sorry, I left one word out here. Give me one moment. B. Reread it.
also needs to be seized and detained. This is why we put them in a crib or put guardrails in a home.
So do you got that?
Okay.
You understand that?
Mm-hmm.
So a newborn child has to also be seized and detained. How about that? So we don't just let them go where they want to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we'll put them on the bed and they'll start crawling toward the edge of the bed. And they don't realize how dangerous that is. So we got to pull them back. We have to detain them. We have to secure them, etc. So we're making a point here about the true fitra-based meaning for the word Khalifa. Despite what scholars have said, and it's a political leader, it's somebody in Iran, the Khalif or whatever. We're not dealing with what people said about what a Khalif is, or a Caliph, or whatever they pronounce it as. We're talking strictly about what Allah put in the Quran, and we're evaluating these letters, giving these letters value, these words value based on how Allah uses it in the Quran, nowhere else. Are we clear on that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So start from repeat the sound of kha in your mouth.
Repeat the sound of Kha in your mouth.
Right, so say it about 4 or 5 times right now.
Kha,
Mm-hmm.
Kha, 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 Kha.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Continue.
Infant, especially once she starts crawling, she also needs to be seized and detained. This is why we put them in a crib or put up guardrails in the home.
Very good. Continue.
It is also the job of the genes, DNA, RNA, to bring your genetic past
Oops, made
genetic.
another mistake. Hold on. I was doing this quickly before you joined me. Okay. Let's try that again from the beginning of it.
To bring your genetic past up to the forefront of your current activity. This is concerning your DNA. This is occurring. Your DNA
No, no,
is
no,
all
no. Go back and read slowly.
as this is occurring. Your DNA is also experiencing an evolution in quality due to many learning lessons along the way.
Stop there. All right. Now there's a lot here. And normally people might give college students this kind of sentence and information. Nobody would expect an 11-year-old Mahdi to be able to understand what's being said here. Just looking at that sentence that you just read, can you explain to me some of what's being said there?
About how your DNA is passed on from one generation to another?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's it. That's the explanation. And it's the job of your genes. What do I mean by genetic? Oh, I did. Did I have it spelled right the first time? Yeah, past, not past. Yeah, okay, so that's my fault. All right, so what do I mean by genetic past?
Like your lineage,
Give me an example.
like your grandpa or something like that.
Okay. And you might have some of his traits, right? You might need,
Mm,
you might even have some of his features. Like you might have your grandpa or your grandma's eyes, or sometimes we have the same hair that our great granddaddy had, right? The same smile sometimes, or whatever. Those things are inherited from the past. So you're bringing what's in the past forward into your life experience. Okay.
mhm.
And as you bring them into your life experience, those behaviors and those traits are also supposed to be evolving. What does evolving mean? What is evolution?
Like change.
Change in what way? Better or worse?
Maybe both.
Okay. Evolution is change for the better. There's another word that they don't teach you in school called devolution.
No, I know that.
Yeah. Okay. So that's when stuff starts to go backward. All right. So if you have a person who's born into the world and they start jumping around like a monkey or acting silly, or they act like they don't have any sense and don't want any sense, that's not evolution going forward. That's devolution going backwards. You got it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to show you a little trick in this word. E in any word, if it's at the beginning of the word, it means to come out, to go outward, like exit. You got it? You have another word here that is related to the word value. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
And you see how the VOLU is related to the VALUE? So evolution or evolution, if E means to go out, what does evolution mean about the value? What is it saying about value?
About how evolution is valuable.
Yeah. And it's always coming out of you.
If you're got if you have traits like when you go to if you're dependent on like when if the climate is very cold in your area or the climate is very warm in your area, when you go to a cold place, if you don't evolve to have a trait to be able to withstand the cold, you might die.
This is true. So so the climate and you're becoming used to the climate is increasing the value in you for being able to manage that climate. If you can manage that climate, your value has increased. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, your value has increased if you can manage the climate. If you can't, then you become devalued. devolution, devolution, it's also pronounced. And those are like college level concepts. So I'm not sure you're really understanding what I'm saying. Are you?
And
Huh?
I understand
Well, if you understand it, you can explain that back to me.
about the
The difference between evolution and devolution and value.
evol- evolution. When you de-evolve, a trait goes away, or something bad evolves. So, like, let's just say an animal. So this animal is fast and it's fast normally. This animal, it's known to be fast, is fast, but then one of these animals was born and it decided that it didn't want to run, so it just stayed where it was and sat down and move anywhere. And after a while, since the lack of the muscle of this animal was not used of his legs, he got slower and slower. One point, he de-evolved the trait of being fast. So that's when he had to evolve the trait of something else to survive. Because if you're slow and you can't run from whatever else is bigger than you, I don't know, you might die or something. I don't know. So it decided to grow. It decided to evolve. What's spikes? I don't know. Smoke, something like that,
Mm-hmm.
to defend itself against the outside world, and that increased its value.
Mahdi, that's the best explanation I've ever heard anybody give. I gotta tell you, I'm not just saying that. That's the best explanation, way beyond what I expected, that I've ever heard anybody give for what I just asked you. So give yourself a round of applause for that one. That was great. That was great. All right. So because you added a very important point, and that is that when you lose something, especially if it happens in nature or something takes place in your DNA that's not right or whatever, then nature will begin to assist you by giving you something to compensate. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, it's like when the ocean creatures started coming on the shore, like let's say the catfish. The catfish lives partly in the water and then partly on the shore. It can survive for a while on the shore because it's already started receiving the kind of gills that can breathe air outside of the water's oxygen. And because of that, maybe one day of, whatever, 5,000 years from now, catfish will live purely on the land. Many creatures began in the sea and eventually made it to the land, and then they had to evolve, right? New tools or new apparatus, they call it, for surviving on the land and not having to survive in the water. Okay, so you're absolutely correct. You're what they call spot on. Let's continue. Man, time flies when you're having fun, man. D, we're already a half an hour in. Man. Okay. So, where did we stop? Let's go from there.
There are survival instincts in your genes that also need to be seized and attained in a way that does not interfere with the rights of other people.
Okay. And then that question there is what?
Can you name three survival instincts?
Okay. Go to work. Give me 3 survival instincts in human beings.
Oh, okay. I was going to name a bunch about animals, but
I knew you were going to do that. That's why I stopped you. That's
okay.
that.
Adrenaline kicks up
Good.
usually.
When?
Okay, so let's just say you're in the middle of the forest and you realize you get lost. Your adrenaline kicks up at least a little.
Yeah, that's
Because
that's right.
depends where you are. If you're in Yellowstone, you're probably in danger.
You got that right. Oh, yeah. What kind of creatures are in Yellowstone Park?
There's I think wolves and something else and a few other
Mhm.
stuff.
All right.
I
Wow.
don't know Yellowstone.
Yeah. It's all right. We know it can be dangerous. We do know that. All right. So give me that. That's one. Give me two more.
We we most likely will find we most likely will try to find help.
Okay. Give me what that is as an instinct.
Okay, never mind. That's not an instinct. Let's say um when somebody goes to punch you, like when you're aware that somebody's about to punch you, you will immediately try to you know uh what's it block or something, try to
That's
protect
right.
yourself.
That's right. So self protection is an instinct in every creature. Actually, even a little bird, if you come at him wrong, he'll try to peck your throat. He'll try to fly right into your throat in order to get you away from harming him. A little bird, a little bitty bird will do that. So yeah, absolutely right. Even a newborn python, if he bites you, you'll die if you don't get help. He just,
Python, they're not poisonous though.
I'm sorry, which ones are poisonous?
The king cobra.
The king cobra. Then let's say a newborn king cobra just popped out the shell, right? And here name an animal that might want to eat him.
Mongoose.
A mongoose. Okay, so let's say a mongoose is right there and he's out of the egg, and the mongoose says, "Hey, this is going to be a tasty treat." And the mongoose, he checks his watch and he sees that it's lunchtime, right? Right. So he goes up to and tries to snatch that snake, and that snake puts that he's got two little fangs. He's born with them in his mouth, and he catches that mongoose. The mongoose will die as dead as a doornail.
Some of these mongooses actually get these mongooses. They've developed a way to catch some of these king cobras. So if they
Mm-hmm.
get lucky, they can get one or two.
And if he gets unlucky and that king cobra baby gets, I don't know, they call him a prince cobra. I don't know what they, but if he catches him wrong and he gets those two fangs in him, the poison in his fangs is just as lethal as if the mother snake had bit him or the father snake had bit him. Allah put the same amount of danger in the uh, tips of that snake's teeth, fangs, as he gave to the mother and father. Do you know why Allah did that? Possibly.
Protection.
Why would that little just born, cracked out of the egg snake need that kind of protection?
Well, somebody might eat him. Mongoose, bird.
Well, how come his mommy don't just jump to his defense? Wouldn't your mother jump to your defense if somebody were trying to harm you when you were a baby?
Problem. Snakes, they lack that organ. They lack that thing in their brain to love, so they don't really have that part in their brain. So they just leave them to fend for themselves.
You're a very smart young man. But I'm going to give you the definitive answer. You ready? It's because the mother snake doesn't need to be there when that baby snake comes out of the egg. Now, how come the mother snake doesn't need to be there when her baby is being born out of that egg?
Poison.
No. How come the mother doesn't need to be there when the baby? All right. Our mother needed to be there when we were born.
Oh, yeah, because the king cobra, some animals, when they're born out the egg, they don't need the help of the mother. They just go on to live their lives by
That's right.
themselves.
Now, why is that? What is it that they do not need from their mother that humans and animals need from their mother
Care,
in the form of?
like milk and like protection,
What's that first word you said?
milk.
Yeah, they need to be fed by the mother, the mammals. But the reptiles do not need to be fed by their mothers. So that's why mother doesn't have to be there. But because mother doesn't have to be there, perchance, if she's not there when that eggshell cracks and there's an enemy there, Allah gave that little bitty snake the same lethal poison in his fangs to be able to defend himself or herself. And that's the balance of nature.
When they grow up, they have flaps on their they have flaps on them. It's if I could show you a picture, it'd be a lot better. But
Mm-hmm.
these flaps look like eyes. These eyes, these are just the first warning signs to not bother them.
Mm-hmm.
They'll
Camouflage is what you're saying? Is it camouflage?
no, it's
I mean, if another animal is looking, does the
uh,
other animal think that those might be eyes looking at him?
yeah, and it's also a warning. I am poisonous. Some animals have this thing where they're very, very, very colorful. It's also it's a warning telling them, "Do not touch me.
Got you.
I am poisonous."
And that's mercy from Allah to those other animals, right? Because they want to live too. Man, yeah, boy, I'm going to let you have your own podcast one day. It's going to be the Mahdi hour. And I'm going to get you to teach a whole lot of other people your age and older because you have a very good way of describing nature and what nature does. I'm enjoying it. All right,
I
let's
can't remember what else those flaps were used. There's something else.
yeah. So maybe you can do some research into that. I don't know what you would type in to find that, but see if you can find. It's not a homework assignment, but just see it on your own if you can find it, and then send it to me. I'm interested in that.
It was
And if you
also
can,
used.
hmm?
I think it was used for hunting.
Okay, that's possible. And I know there are other animals that look like leaves on a tree and that kind of thing. So they're kind of like camouflage or the way a reptile's skin looks. Sometimes it can blend right in with the logs, right? In the forest or blend right in with the foliage and stuff like that. So that's how Allah allows creatures to defend themselves and to live to see another day. And that's a beautiful thing. Some people say nature is cruel, but I don't think so. When you look at um the balances in nature, and also, if some creatures become too numerous, they upset the balance in nature. So Allah allows some creatures to hunt and to eat and to do other things to keep the numbers of those creatures down so that you don't have an overpopulation of those creatures. Have you heard about that or read about that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So what was it? I don't remember. It was somewhere in America or something. Somebody let like bunnies out or something,
Mhm.
and then the bunnies overpopulated because there's no natural enemy.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. All right. So we're talking about survival instincts right now. All right. So as you said, there are survival instincts. One moment. Get rid of
I could
some.
name so many.
Huh?
I could name so many
Well, give me some more survival instincts.
of humans.
Yeah. Let's stay with humans for a minute, and then I'll let you go to other creatures.
Oh yeah, I have so many.
And they're basically the same instincts. So if you give me one, it's probably going to apply to other creatures also. You're overlooking one very obvious one that's a survival instinct in all creatures. That if they don't do this or get this, they die.
Oh, you mean like food and water? Trying to find food.
Yeah. Yeah. What makes us
Like that.
thirsty are our instincts.
If you've already eaten and you just got out like I don't know a restaurant and you just drank up and everything, that's not going to be the first thing on your mind.
No, it's not going to be. But the reason you stop eating and drinking is because it's going to be detrimental to your survival. You could eat so much that you kill yourself with a knife and fork. So even stopping eating is an instinct, just like the newborn baby, right? You feed the baby milk or mother breastfeeds the child, there's a point where the child will not open his mouth when the mother puts her breast in his mouth or when she puts the nipple, the bottle in his mouth. The child itself, without anybody outside saying that's enough, the child's fitra, the way Allah created that baby automatically knows, it's in the baby's instincts to stop. This is enough. And then when the nature says, I'm hungry, the baby starts to cry or call out for mommy or whatever. All of that is instinct, whether you're calling for it or saying that's enough. Just like some people, but some creatures will, you've heard of fight or flight instincts, right? No? Okay, so you need to look that up. That's the major calling card of your instincts, that they are fight or flight, meaning if you are a deer in the forest and you're nibbling on a leaf, too bad you can't see me right now. Can you see
I
me?
can.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you're nibbling on the leaf. I can't see me, but you're nibbling on the leaf. And you know how deers do. Deers will be nibbling, and then if they hear something, what do their ears do?
Oh, they do. They switch. Their
Yeah.
ears switch
Yeah.
first if it's very, 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 if it's a very, very, very light noise. But
Yeah.
then once it gets like,
Yeah. If it's
then they look and they're
then
like,
they
what?
look. And then if they see something dangerous, they're out of there. They flee, right?
Just the problem is that in our place, these deer, they're not really hunted. So not here, but like Kentucky, like they're very dead. But anyway, in our old home, these things were like flies. So yeah, I walked up to one with a ball. I was like, I want to hit it. So then, uh,
I'm glad you didn't.
I did.
You hit it with a ball.
Yeah,
Mahdi.
I wanted to see what happened.
There might not be any statute of limitations on hitting a deer with a ball. So be careful what you say online. That's terrible. Why would you hit a deer with a ball?
It
What did
was a
that deer
soft,
do to you,
no,
huh?
not softball. I meant like it was like a deflated ball.
Oh, okay, just a softball. Okay, like deers playing with each other. I get it. But now, what
So
would happen?
I'm like,
Well,
I want to guess what would happen if I could get up close because I didn't, a guy got killed because the deer attacked, and I was like, that's very unusual. So
well,
then,
it's not unusual when you understand how big a deer can be,
yeah, like, but this guy was hunting,
and
hunting with a gun,
yeah,
and it was with a shotgun, and he missed. I don't know how you do that, but
well, he was nervous, but that proves my point about fight or flight. An
no,
animal,
like
an
you don't even do.
animal. Listen carefully. An animal will engage you if its instincts tell you that, or tells it that it might be able to defeat you. That's the only time an animal is going to want to fight you, or if it's in a situation where it can't get away, and here you come, the lioness, then the deer is still going to try to maneuver you, or the deer is going to try to, fight or buck you with its, if it has, antlers. But if it sees a way that it can get away, then it's going to try to flee. So that's fight or flight, fight or flee. And those are two basic instincts in all living creatures. You got that?
Mhm.
So give me some more instincts, man, before we move on. Give me some more survival instincts.
Humans.
You're on a roll. Any creatures now.
Oh, okay. So on a cucumber, sea cucumber. So they have these things, a sea cucumber. So whenever a fish tries to eat one of these, well, they have the survival instinct to apparently launch out some kind of, I don't know, but it's poison. It's bad to touch and other stuff.
Ah,
So they unleash it and it covers all over them.
it's
And
like
then
it's like a gas or a liquid. What is this?
it's like some kind of tentacle that they launch it all
Oh,
over.
almost like a porcupine type thing,
No,
where
it's not hard. It's like not even hard. It's like sort of like intestine or something. I don't know what it is. I don't remember. It comes out, launches all over it.
Can you do
And
some
then
investigation into that? Now I'm so you got me so curious now. I might not be able to go to sleep tonight, wondering what that is you're talking about. If you can do some
I
investigation,
don't know, like the sea cucumber just does it, and then
but I want you to Google that. It's not homework. It's just on your own. It's a personal favor to the instructor because I won't be able to sleep tonight. So if you can Google what that is and then just email it to me, I'd be so happy. Can you do that for me? All right.
so it does that.
All right. Give me one other instinct.
Ooh, okay. What else is there?
Getting harder now, all right? You done gave me all the best ones already, I think.
No, no, no. I never gave you any of
Well,
this.
come on with it, man.
What is it? What was that thing called? I don't know. What did it do? What was that thing? Huh, okay. Survival instinct. How about a fish? About what's it? What are these things called? Clownfish. These clownfish. Some of these clownfish.
Mm-hmm.
So some of these clownfish. Some of these things. I think sea anemones, and well, they live in them. They evolved the trait to live in these things.
Mm-hmm.
You might say, what's so dangerous about living in these things? Well, the thing is that these sea anemones, they have like this thing called, they have like these tentacles and stuff, and well, they're like dangerous, and like when a fish gets touched by this, it's either poison, yeah, it's probably poison. It's poisonous, so then fish touches it and it sort of like has a seizure and dies or something.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
So
really quick.
now
Like
explain how that is an instinct
usually
as
most
opposed to it just being its security system or its defense system.
so I'm guess the clownfish would go out to eat and stuff, and then or find something to eat.
Mm-hmm.
You know what is it? It it has the yeah, it gets food from the sea anemone or something.
Mm-hmm.
So the clownfish is a survival instinct because it knows that this thing can protect it if it you know is friends with it. So then it gets that. So then so most of these clownfish live in sea anemones. They don't live anywhere else. They just
Mm-hmm.
live in these. So they most of them, as soon as they're born, they won't live with the mom and dad and stuff at the sea anemone. So they leave and find another, and then yeah, it sort of becomes a survival instinct.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask you a very simple question. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
If someone slaps me in the face and that slap hits my eye, what happens to my eye?
Oh, it gets hurt, and you go.
What happens to my actual eye physically?
Gets red,
What else?
starts crying.
Yeah.
Tears.
And what else can happen if they hit me hard enough in my eye?
You could go black for a few
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah. Or it can swell. I can get a swollen eye, right?
Mm-hmm.
They can slap me or maybe they might punch me. I'm going to get a swollen eye. It might get black. They call it a black eye. It might turn red and purple and all of that, right? Why is it
Mm-hmm.
doing all of that?
Uh, because because the blood is going into that part of the where it got hit.
Right. And what is the blood doing? What is Allah commanding the blood to do for you?
I don't
Why
know.
does the eye turn all ugly and dark and maybe close up and all of that? What's
Trying to
the
heal.
there you go. Perfect answer. Perfect answer. That's the way Allah has of healing the wound and the blow. And sometimes it has to get worse before it gets better. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And that's just human life. Sometimes life has to get a little worse. Sometimes people lose their homes, their money, their spouse. Sometimes we lose children. One of my children, died last year, or actually this year. March. He was in a car crash. I don't know if you heard about that, but these things happen. So sometimes life has to get worse. But I have to admit that my personal life is actually a lot better since he has been deceased, because Allah knows how to balance it out. Sometimes you lose something and then Allah gives you, like we just had a brand new granddaughter like last week. You see what I'm saying? So, okay, we lost a family member, but Allah gave us a brand new family member. And that's how Allah balances out the scales, called life. Sometimes you lose a friend at school, somebody you've been friends with for years, and then all of a sudden, you change grades and there's a new friend, right? And wow, you forget about your old friend sometimes because of that new friend. So that's how Allah has, that's the way Allah has of balancing out the scales, called life. Okay, we got to move along. We only got about 5 minutes left. Let's do this. All right. So, can you name 3 survival instincts? Okay. So, I want that to be one of your homework questions. I want you to bring me 10 things related to your instincts. They don't have to, I'm not going to call them survival instincts. I'm just going to say instincts. Just look up the word instinct and tell me what instincts are.
Oh, if you only gave me this assignment earlier, I could have grabbed my science book and I would have been able to tell you.
Well, you have a whole week to do this. This is for next time.
So, what is an instinct?
Yeah. What are instincts? Let me know when you're finished. Got it?
Yep.
All right. So we're going to touch just very briefly, very lightly on that second letter again. Now, remember, we went over these letters already 2 weeks in a row. All right. So this is not you learning anything new. This is you just reviewing with some additional notes that I've made on these letters. So that next letter is what in Khaleefah?
The tongue.
Yeah. What's the letter?
The lamb.
Lamb. Very good. All right. And the part of the body represented? Go for it.
The tongue.
Keep going.
Oh, the tongue. Used for tasting and talking. L is the one letter which identifies language in and of itself. The letter L happens to be the most used letter in the Arabic alphabet. We use our tongue to ask questions, and this is how we learn. We also use our tongue to teach, and this is how we share knowledge.
Mm-hmm. So you see the letter L in learn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you won't know this, but the Arabic word for knowledge is ilm, like ILM. So you see the letter L in ilm, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see the letter L in the word for tongue, or the word for language in the Quran, called lisan. So start here and continue to read.
In Arabic, the word for tongue is lisan, and the tongue is a major tool of communication. The Arabic word law means speak. The tongue pulls in information by questioning and pushes out information by speaking and teaching.
Stop there for a second. The tongue pulls in information by questioning. Yeah, if I ask you a question and you answer me, I'm pulling the answer out of you, so to speak. Can you envision that? Can you see that in your head?
Mm-hmm.
Every time I ask a question, I'm pulling something out of you. If a person gets arrested and they bring them to the police station and they start questioning that person, then they're trying to pull out evidence that this person either committed this crime or this person could very well be innocent. But they won't know until they pull out answers. You got it? And if they're trying to convince him that I know you did this crime, they're trying to put something in that person. They're pushing their ideas into the person. So the push and pull thing operates exactly like the letter lam. You got it?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk more about lamb later on because it's really like the hook that the shepherd uses in the field to get his sheep and to keep his sheep safe. So what does that staff look like, or that shepherd's hook? What does it look like?
Just a stick with a curve on the end.
Exactly. And that's exactly what the Arabic letter lam looks like. I don't think I put it up here, did I? No, I didn't. But I'll show you next week. That's what the letter lam looks like a candy cane, right? A hook. So if I take the hook end in my hand, if I'm a shepherd and I take the hook end and I point the straight end toward my sheep, or I go up to my sheep and I start pushing the sheep with my straight end, not hard, not to hurt him, but just kind of pushing on. I'm trying to get him to go in a particular direction, right? Now, if that sheep starts going in the wrong direction, what end of the hook am I going to use then?
The hook.
Yeah. And I'm going to hook him around the neck and I'm going to pull him out of danger, right? So that one tool, the shepherd's hook, is used for two different reasons. It's used to push, they call it goading, Goad, goad. I'm using it to push the sheep in the direction that I want him to go in. And if there's one that's straying, all right, then I'm going to hold the straight end in my hand, and then I'm going to hook the sheep by the neck so he won't go in the direction of the wolves and the hyenas and those people, right? So I'm using it for two different reasons. Now, the letter lam, because it represents communication, these are the two major ways that human beings communicate their messages. You're going to either communicate to send people in the right direction, straight in, goading, encouraging, right? Or you're going to use communication, hopefully, to pull people who are going in the wrong direction, to pull them out of that direction so that you can get them again going in the right direction. Now, explain to me what I just explained to you, and we'll be finished.
About the people pulling them in the right direction and stuff.
Yeah, about how that tool, that hook, is used.
You use the hook to pull people going in the wrong direction to come to where you are, and then you use the stick end of the stick to push them in the right direction.
That's right. Now, the only way that changes, Mahdi, is if the person who has the stick has bad intentions. Because if I'm a dope dealer, if I'm a drug dealer, I could get you hooked. You ever hear them use that? Hooked on drugs, right? So that way, if I hook you with my drugs and start pulling at you to come where I am, then I'm hooking you on the wrong thing. I'm not trying to save you from something. I'm actually not allowing you to go in the right direction. And I'm hooking you on something that's going to hurt you. Or I'm going to take the straight end if I'm a bad person, if I have bad intentions, if I'm an evil person, if I don't like people and I want to destroy people's lives, then I'm going to take that same idea, the straight end, and I'm going to point straight and I'm going to say, go that way. But that way is going to be off of a cliff. All right. So we don't, so holding that lam, that letter, that lam is that's why it's the most used letter in the Arabic alphabet. And it's the most used letter in the Quran. Allah uses the letter lam more than any other letter in all of the words that are in the Quran, because lam has to do with teaching and learning. Teaching and learning. And you have to make sure that you're teaching the right thing. And you have to make sure that the people you're teaching are learning the right thing. So if I'm teaching something evil, or teaching something that's going to manipulate you. I'm teaching the wrong thing, but I'm still teaching. If you are learning something you ain't got no business knowing, then I'm giving you information and you're learning from that information, but you're learning the wrong thing. So that's why you, me, and everybody who's trying to be educated and trying to learn new things, we have to make the decision to learn the right thing and not the wrong thing. You're going to learn no matter what it is, but your decision, nobody can make it for you. Your mother, your dad, nobody, your uncle, nobody, your cousins, your teacher, nobody can make that decision for you as to whether or not you want to learn the right things. Because once you get put out into the world, you start going to school like you're doing and all that, then all kinds of voices are going to be in your head. Come with me, do this after school. Let's do that. Let's beat up Joey. Let's do this. Go get a girlfriend. She likes you. See, all that stuff is going to be in your all around you, and your mother's not there to help you make a decision. Your dad is not there. Instructor Bilal is not there to say, don't do that, right? You have to be the one. Let me talk to the camera right to you. You, Mahdi, have to be the one to say, I ain't doing that. Or, hey, yeah, I want more of that because that's good for me. That's your decision. What did I just say to you?
But okay. So
Let's see how good you are. Let's see how good you are. Go ahead.
So you want me to explain like everything about good decision, bad decision?
I want you to explain anything that pops into your brain.
So you when you when you're in what's it like say so many places you could be. You said I can't clear up.
That's all right. Just
But
start anyway.
the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
When you're in the world, there's so many things that everybody is doing. You could be asked to murder somebody, and then this person asks you to well, the world's ending, so come and help me, and then this, and then that, and then so in the world you got to make decisions that are right, because if you don't, you'll end up in the wrong place. When you're in the wrong place, good things don't usually happen, and good things don't usually happen. Your life doesn't last too long, and also you want to have a full, happy life, and when you die, you want to have a peaceful death. You don't want to, die in the most pain you've ever been.
Mm.
And what else? When you make good decisions, your lifespan is increased by probably a lot. And then you gotta make the right choices in life to be successful. To have food every day on your plate. You
Beautiful.
gotta
Beautiful answers.
be smart in some jobs or else you'll be fired.
All right. So I'm going to have you stop there just because we're out of time. But I want you to remember this phrase: nature favors goodness. I think I'm going to make a t-shirt that says that. Nature, meaning the fitra, favors goodness. Got that? All right. So we're going to close out there. Thank you, Mahdi, for being with me once again. And inshallah, I'm looking much forward to being with you and continuing this conversation next week. Thank you for those homeworks. They were very, very nicely done. So you have your questions for today, and I'll wait to get those homeworks from you. You've been doing very, very well with getting me the homeworks. In fact, I don't think you've missed one homework that I've given you since we've started. And this is number 15. Are we on the 15th? Yeah, the 15th session. Isn't that something? How time flies when you're having fun, right? All right. Okay. So greetings to your parents and to your teachers and your friends. And I pray for you to have a good life, not just a good life, but a great life. You're well on your way. I'm very, very proud of you. Got that?
Mhm.
Okay. So we ask that Allah bless this session, that He bless us to both have learned some new things and to have shared with each other information that both of us can benefit from. And believe me, I told you before, I'm learning from you just like you're learning from me. We're just learning different levels of things. All right. So in your own little way, you're like a little junior instructor. You and your faces. All right. Anything you need to say before we close out?
No.
Anything you want to say to your YouTube audience?
Um,
You have a lot of admirers out there.
make good decisions.
All right. All right. That's enough. I greet you in the greetings of peace. And I hope that we will keep the peace. Don't let anybody break your peace. You got it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Salam alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Okay.